Kano governor heads to Supreme Court, describes appeal court verdict a miscarriage of justice. Police arrest suspected gun runners in Anambra, recover cache of arms. Creative wall design providing jobs for youths in Jigawa. On the foreign scene, Liberian President George Weah concedes defeat to ex-Vice President Boakai. Many thanks for joining us on the News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We start the broadcast in Kano as the Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf and the New Nigeria People's Party are prepared to head to the Supreme Court to contest the verdict of the Court of Appeal. Governor Yusuf made the announcement on Friday night in a special broadcast following the outcome of the Court of Appeal verdict, which he described as a miscarriage of justice. Abba Kabir assured supporters that the temporary setback will not deter his administration from its commitment to continue with laudable projects and programs targeted at restoring the lost glory of Kano State.
Court has dismissed our complaint. The reason is because APC in Kano took a complaint about the sitting of NNPP. The court dismissing our case today is unjust and unfair to us and residents of Kano, because we know the people of Kano came out in their numbers to support us. Because of this development, we seek advice from stakeholders and resorted to our lawyers reappearing in the Supreme Court. By the grace of God, the Supreme Court will reaffirm our mandate and that of the good people of Kano, and will dismiss the miscarriage of justice delicacy by the appeal court. I want to use this medium to reaffirm to the people of Kano that we have communicated with security operatives on protecting lives and properties. So we ask them to carry out their businesses and daily activities, because by the grace of God, security officials will secure their lives and properties. We are telling the people of Kano that this setback is just for a little while. By the grace of God, the Supreme Court will give you back your mandate, and we promise you that this development will not deter us from carrying out our duties, especially for nation building and things that will help men and women, especially youth.
Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Well, in a reaction, the national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, says the Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf was sacked by the appeal court on Friday and will still lose at the Supreme Court. The immediate past governor of Kano State made the remark while addressing newsmen at his Abuja residence in Asokoro. Recall that the appeal court sitting in Abuja on Friday upheld the verdict of the Kano State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which earlier nullified the election of Governor Kabir Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party. The court declared that the APC candidate Nasiru Gawuna was a true winner of the March 18 governorship election in Kano. The governor, while reacting to the court verdict, expressed optimism that he will reclaim his glory, or rather his victory, at the apex court. But Ganduje, who was elated by the appeal court verdict, vowed that the APC candidate will still win at the Supreme Court. Still talking politics, a faction of the New Nigeria People's Party has distanced itself from comments by Yakubu Shandam, claiming he is not the party's official spokesperson and that his remarks on a potential merger with other political parties do not reflect the NNPP's position. In a statement issued on Saturday, NNPP National Chairman Dr. Major Agbo clarified that Abdusalam Abdurazak remains the party's duly recognized National Publicity Secretary. He says Shandam is not a member of the NNPP and is likely acting as a spokesperson for Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwaso's Kwankwasia group. Agbo's statement was a direct response to Shandam's recent remarks regarding a proposal by the PDP's presidential candidate in the 2023 general elections, Atiku Abubakar, calling for a merger among opposition parties to challenge the All Progressives Congress ahead of the 2027 elections. Agbo dismissed Shandam's claims, emphasizing that Kwankwaso was expelled from the NNPP by the party's Board of Trustees back in August this year due to anti-party activities and other serious violations of party rules. He added that Kwankwaso is no longer a member of the party and cannot be its presidential candidate in 2027. Now, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has fixed Sunday, November 19, to deliver judgment in the Plateau governorship election dispute. The court is set to deliver judgment between Governor Caleb Mutfwang of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Nantawe Yilwata. Now, the Election Petition Tribunal had earlier affirmed the election of Governor Mutfwang, but the APC candidate is appealing the judgment. Stakeholders of both the APC and the PDP in Plateau State remain confident of victory ahead of the verdict. Now, former President of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, is advocating political team spirit and sportsmanship days after the conclusion of the off-cycle governorship election in Nigeria across Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa State. In his remarks at the Government House Governor's Lodge in Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital, the former president called on political stakeholders in the state to unite in the interests of Bayelsa in order to grow and develop the state. From Bayelsa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter has more.
Despite the discontent expressed by members of the opposition parties over the conduct of the election, the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, commended Bayelsans for contributing to a large hitch-free fair, which he says is good for democracy.
As an elder in the state, I have to plead with the younger ones, all of those who are interested, to please allow peace to reign. We don't want to go into unnecessary crisis in the state. Results have been declared, and we believe the elections were well conducted, and we believe the governor won the election. And we plead that people should accept it and work with the governor. Let all of us support him so that the state will move ahead.
Goodluck Jonathan also advised Senator Toyeturi to extend the olive branch to all contestants and other party men for the interest of the state.
For Your Excellency, a winning election you celebrate, but it's a burden. You also have to do your best to make sure that you extend the hands of fellowship to all those who contested with you. Contesting for election does not make people enemies. It's a game. It's a game of. In fact, elections have been a very beautiful thing because it's about contestation of ideas, and people will listen to you and see who we are and vote for you, and it favors you. So it's their duty. People may be still grumbling. It's their duty to pull them to you and say, let's move on. Let's run the state together. And I know you will do that because you have done it before.
On his part, Senator Toyeturi, while appreciating the former president for his support and love, presented his certificate of return to the former president.
We hope and pray that you will continue to support us the way you have supported us in our first tenure. We are so few that the few of you that we have as our leaders, we must tap from your knowledge, your wisdom, so that our state will continue to grow. Our state will continue to be in peace and in unity. That I will formally present the certificate of returns to you as I was issued by INEC this morning. Sincerely, you are the first person we are presenting this certificate to, and rightly so, because of who you are.
Governor Toyeturi secured his second term in office after defeating his closest rival, Timi Peresiva, in the November 11 election with an overwhelming victory. Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News, Yenagoa.
So talking about the off-cycle elections, the leadership and members of the coalition of INEC-accredited Domestic Election Observers Group has just concluded Imo State governorship election as the most peaceful, free, fair and credible election to be conducted in the state. According to the observers, the re-election of Governor Hope Uzodinma undoubtedly went through a credible electioneering process with INEC and security agencies maintaining fairness. Victor Kalu, the leader of the observers group, stated this while addressing journalists in Owerri.
Seeing the election as an opportunity to make amends from public complaints and issues arising from the 2023 general elections, there was an obvious improvement on the part of INEC in ensuring a credible, free, fair and transparent election in Imo State. The conduct of INEC was totally in line with our relevant electoral laws, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and of course, the guidelines for the election as issued by the Commission.
Talking security now, in an intensified clearance operation against terrorists and bandits in the northwestern states across Nigeria, troops of the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Hadarin Daji have neutralized 2 terrorists and rescued 5 abductees in Zamfara State. The spokesperson for the Operation Hadarin Daji, Captain Yahya Ibrahim, said this on Friday in a statement made available to newsmen. According to him, the troops carried out a coordinated clearance operation on terrorist enclaves on November 16 and 17 across different parts of Anka local government area of the state. During the operation, troops encountered and neutralized 2 armed terrorists while others escaped with gunshot injuries. Similarly, troops reportedly responded swiftly and timely to a distress call of an armed bandit attack on the Yarukoria community in Wuya district of Anka local government area. 5 victims, which include a child, 2 females and 3 males, were successfully rescued and reunited with their families, according to the statement. Elsewhere, gunmen have invaded Kwayamawa village and abducted a businessman in Duse local government area of Jigawa state. A resident said the incident occurred on Friday morning. He said the gunmen, armed with dangerous weapons, went to the house of the victim and took him away at gunpoint to an unknown destination after collecting the sum of 3 million naira. Police spokesperson DSP Lawan Shisu confirmed the incident. Shisu says efforts by the police are still on to ensure the victim is rescued unharmed. He appealed to residents to help the police with any useful information that would help in arresting the suspects. This is coming just weeks after gunmen abducted 2 wives of Kiawa local government chairman. The police in Anambra State have busted an arms-running syndicate. A release by the Anambra State Police Command spokesperson DSP Tochukwu Ikenga stated that 23 pump-action automatic guns were recovered from the syndicate in Onitsha. He added that it also arrested the dealer who he described as a major arms dealer dealing illegally in prohibited firearms. The statement stated that the breakthrough followed weeks of intensive surveillance by operatives of the command. A total of 23 automatic pump-action guns and 625 live cartridges were recovered. 3 suspects have been arrested in Onitsha, while an investigation is being expanded. Ikenga quoted the Commissioner of Police, Aderemi Adeoye, as commending the operatives involved in the operation, saying that the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, has also provided guidance throughout the duration of the operation. In other security news, police operatives in Bayelsa State have nabbed one of the killers of late SP Bako Agbashim, former divisional police officer of Ahoada Division in Rivers State. The arrested suspect is the second in command to Tubaba, the leader of the dreaded Icelander cult group in Rivers State. A statement issued by the Bayelsa State Police Public Relations Officer, CSP Asimin Butswat, said Ikoa was arrested on November 18, 2023, based on credible intelligence that he was hibernating in Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital, after participating in the murder of the late Bako. Now, the Commissioner of Police in Bayelsa State, Francis Idu charged police operatives to fish out any of his cohorts who are hiding in Bayelsa State. He also stressed that the Bayelsa State Police Command under his watch would not allow Bayelsa to be a safe haven for criminals. The suspect has been handed over to the River State Police Command for further investigation. Now, as Nigeria struggles with creating jobs for millions of unemployed youths, a young talented man has tapped into his artistic skills and talents as a decorator to become gainfully employed. Mohammed Sani Adamu is an upcoming decorator in Jigawa State whose creativity is adding beauty to buildings and money in his pockets. Adamu Imam tells us his story.
The young talented artist said he took himself where he served as an apprentice even before completing his secondary school education in 2022. According to Sani Adamu, he was opportune to watch a well-established royal decorator from Kano State while working in one of the royal houses in Jigawa State. Mohammed said he developed a keen interest in the art decoration process and presented himself to join the trend to help his immediate family and others as well. I started this work with passion when I was in SS3 secondary school, while God blessed me and I joined my master in Royal Traditional Designs. I always find time to learn how to design after closing from school. I was an apprentice at the beginning, but within shortest time, I learned quickly. So my colleagues with whom we started together did not learn as fast as me. Within 2 years, I'm independent. With this design work, my master was surprised. Adam wanted to go for a degree program in one of the universities to study architecture, and he also understands the world is fast changing. There is a need for young people like him to preserve Nigerian golden heritage with modern traditional cultural heritage designs. Adam revealed that what he really needs to excel in his chosen career with patronage from people to keep him going because the work entails a reasonable capital. Some of his colleagues are older than him, but they agree to work and achieve their dreams.
But my junior brother, he is the master of this designing. He's the master of this design. He is my junior brother, and he is the one that tried to help me to do the job.
What captivated me to join our younger brother and our master was I realized how lucrative the job is, and we are able to provide for ourselves. Living without doing anything is not good, and this work pays a lot. We do buy things ourselves without asking our parents. We do help better than others. Royal decoration design has a long history that you can find in every royal palace in Nigeria, especially in northern part. So we found ourselves in this work and modernize it because the one we do now is quite different from this one in the past. We make it more colorful, and if you look at the finishing, it is more attractive, unlike the old design, very captivating. According to him, he is currently working with over 5 young men, and he wanted to launch a mini company very soon that will be dealing in royal architectural design, decorations throughout the country and beyond. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Jigawa.
Such a courageous and remarkable group. Now, the deficit in Nigeria's healthcare sector means millions of Nigerians lack access to basic services that will improve quality of life. In Kaduna State, some communities remain cut off from accessing quality healthcare services due to years of neglect and inadequate infrastructure, leaving many residents exposed with limited options. Trust TV's Bello Musa completes the story.
The challenges impacting the quality of life in rural communities across Kaduna State are too numerous to mention. the provision of basic amenities like healthcare has eluded communities despite attempts by governments in the past to meet the needs of the people. In 2021, the Kaduna State government began using drones to deliver medicines to hard-to-reach communities. But how effective has this initiative been in adequately addressing the needs of the people?
We are really enjoying, and there is safe delivery of drugs and within a short possible time. That's time frame, within short time frame of duration. That's when we request for drugs or when we come to the hospital and then there's no drugs within limited time. Drugs is being provided.
We can go Zaria or Kaduna to purchase drugs. It's easier for us in this our community to have access to drugs. So exactly we are very, very happy.
Despite drone delivery service, many communities are still finding it difficult to access healthcare service. If our wives are sick or in labor, conveying them using this route to Ikara Hospital can be risky because they may either die or deliver on the road due to the bad condition of this road.
And then those that our patient when they fall, they couldn't be able to reach town. Why? On their way, sometimes they used to die. Some are dying on a local canoes. Some are dying on the way. Why? Because the road is very bad.
Whenever they are delivering the services, they have to expand it because the remote area, for instance, like for some Kadaji, they don't have access to this zip line. The only service is within Kubau, Pandegua, Samunaka, and Waterview. So it's very important to expand the services to remote area because it's somewhere that is hard to reach with the drugs.
Besides bad road, which is hindering us from accessing healthcare facility outside our communities, insecurity is also affecting healthcare delivery because many are afraid to use the road. We are begging for help. Although the use of drones may seem futuristic and a welcome development, the gaps in healthcare service persist for most residents who continue to struggle on a daily basis.
Exactly. Honestly speaking, there is a very need of drones facility because we are very far away from the Kaduna State town, and then those that our patient when they fall, they couldn't be able to reach town. Why? On their way, sometimes they used to die. Some are dying on a local canoes.
We definitely work hand in hand with them. Our vaccines, our medical products are all from the government. Yeah, so when you ask me that, I will tell you yes, definitely. Whichever vaccine it is that we do have, and wherever it is that we are required to send, that we have to do in collaboration with the government. Yeah.
In 2021, the Kaduna State government signed a memorandum of understanding with the US Zipline company to address logistics issues and improve the delivery of medicines to hard-to-reach health facilities. Looking at the shortfalls in the system, more needs to be done in providing basic healthcare service to rural dwellers who feel forgotten and left out. Bella Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Well, you're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, we tell you the story of how loan sharks are negatively impacting the lives of Nigerians. More on this and many other stories up ahead in just a moment.
We started manufacturing leather since 1958. But the most important thing is that if the system is checked correctly, we won't have where we are now.
If somebody has depression, they may just be very irritable and unproductive in the office. So you find on average already about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Nigerians already have a mental illness, a mental health condition that needs some form of attention.
No matter how good an economy is, if the federal government goes bust, believe me, everything in the economy is just a matter of time it will go bust. So first of all, about maybe slightly above below 70% is in federal government securities.
If government has banned importation of fertilizer and states are doing it at the level of governance, but I believe that production and distribution of fertilizer should be left to the private sector.
This is the general multi-purpose card, and it has a chip here. So this chip is about 80 kilobytes. The one that you get from the bank for ATM is just 4 kilobytes. So this is like 20 times.
As night falls in Abuja, the city's dark side comes to life.
Akwai abun da nake sawa a jikina. In dai ba da zuciya ɗaya za ka ɗauke ni, mu tafi akwai abun da zai faru. Yana nuna mini.
The speedy underworld of commercial sex work is flourishing in Nigeria's capital city. Despite the dangers and health hazards, young women join the trade every day in hopes of earning quick money and a life of luxury.
Every day, when I wake up, I used to ask myself, why am I doing this kind of thing? If I see myself on the street, I used to shed tears every day.
They say their families have no idea what they do, while their tears suggest some remorse, maybe pain and even regret. These ladies hope others will learn from their story.
Welcome back to the news. A quick reminder of our top stories. Kano State Governor heads to the Supreme Court, describes appeal court's verdict a miscarriage of justice. Police arrest 3 suspected gun runners in Anambra, recover cache of arms. Now, emergency response organizations in Katsina State are stepping up their public enlightenment campaign against fire outbreaks. Now, fire outbreaks are usually frequent around this time of the year, resulting in the loss of lives and property across the country. Abdullahi Hamadi tells us more.
Major stakeholders here mentioned electrical faults, improper handling of fire, and mistakes from use of cooking gas as some of the major causes of fire outbreaks. Residents are sensitized on the best ways to handle equipment and what to do during emergency situations. Experts say every season comes with its risks, and Harmattan is not an exception. As such, it becomes imperative to take proactive measures against fire disasters, especially now that the season has set in everywhere in northern Nigeria.
Many residents fall victims of fire disasters due to negligence and improper handling of fire outbreaks. We want to at least reduce its frequency and dangers it poses. We are also sensitizing stakeholders on the best ways to handle emergency situations depending on the nature of the disaster. We know fire disasters differ. The one from gasoline is different from that of electricity or other sources. So, we are making effort to enlighten the populace on each and its preventive measures, which is key.
Emergency response organizations in Katsina have issued warnings and are giving assurances that they are ready to respond to any disaster in the event of any eventuality.
If there is any fire outbreak, of course, at your house or any neighbor, you are free to call 112, which is the emergency call number that when you dial without even having a SIM card in your phone, you can reach 112 to report any emergency case.
In In the same vein, some victims of fire outbreaks decried inadequate sensitization in the past and appreciate the current effort by the relevant authorities to reduce losses occasioned by the disaster.
I had fire incidents at my residence precisely a week ago on the 9th of November 2023. When the incidents happened or it occurred, it was on a broad daylight, and it is as a result of overcharging by this electric lighting system.
Public commentators suggest more media campaigns on the preventive measures against fire disasters, not only in Katsina State, but Nigeria as a whole, considering the frequency of its occurrence. Abdullahi Izumayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
To Gombe State, where the State Police Command has arrested 6 persons in connection with the attack on judicial officers in Balanga local government area of the state. An upper area court judge, a lawyer and a judicial staff were allegedly assaulted while on official duty to adjudicate a disputed land property in Balanga local government area. The police public relations officer, Gombe State Police Command, Mahid Muazu Abubakar, said the 6 suspects will be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded.
On the 4th of November 2023 at about 14:00 hours, one barrister Ayuba Buba, an upper area court judge, his registrar Malam Abubakar Gambo, and his team went to Potuki degree area of Balanga local government to make inquiries in respect of farmland dispute pending before the court. The defendant, Malam Abubakar Umar, and other accomplices allegedly conspired and attacked the said judge and his team with offensive weapons. The registrar and one other person sustained serious injuries and were taken to the hospital for medical attention. Later, on 11/11/2023, 6 suspects in respect of the said crime, namely Abubakar Umar Dunda, 50 years, Adamu Umar Dunda, 54 years, Haman Umar Dunda, 42 years, Nuhu Umar Dunda, 35 years, Al-Hassan Umar Dunda, 39 years, and Tukur Umar Dunda, 40 years, all of Degree Village, Balanga local government, were arrested by operatives of Balanga Divisional Police Headquarters.
And in a disturbing incident, a 30-year-old man has confessed to a heinous crime of sexually assaulting a 2-year-old girl in Adamawa. The culprit, a resident of Aljannaru village in Song local government area, was apprehended by the Adamawa State Police Command. The suspect, in his confession, attributed his actions to an influence of alcohol. Now, the suspect was allegedly caught in the act by a relative of the victim who raised an alarm, leading to his eventual arrest by the police. Now, the police commissioner in Adamawa State, Afolabi Babatola, has ordered the Criminal Investigation Department to investigate the matter and ensure the prosecution of the suspect. And in Enugu State, the police has arrested 3 persons suspected of sexually molesting a 3-year-old pupil in Enugu. The arrest is part of an ongoing investigation into the sexual molestation of girls, or rather the girl who is a pupil of Tenderling School, Trans Ekulu in Enugu. According to the spokesman of the police command, DSP Daniel Ndukwe, those arrested and facing interrogation include a teacher in the school and 2 others. The spokesperson says preliminary investigation proves that the child was found to have been sexually molested after the school bus dropped her at home. This is in addition to receipt of similar complaints by parents of other children in the school. 3 suspects comprising the victim's female teacher, the school's bus attendant, and the driver have been arrested for interrogation. Ndukwe says the Commissioner of Police, Kanayo Uzuegu, appreciated the Enugu State government's decision to shut down the school pending the conclusion of the investigation. Now, obtaining traditional bank loans necessitate bureaucratic procedures, but digital money lenders, on the other hand, provide instant and uncollateralized loans. Daily Trust's investigation reveals how these digital lenders, also regarded as loan sharks, breach privacy laws and use rogue recovery techniques to harass defaulters. Take a look.
The coming of digital money lenders redefined conventional banking and loaning methods. They offered easy and uncollateralized loans, but simultaneously, they came with a series of problems. The adoption of unconventional and illegal means of threats and harassment to torment clients into paying back loans with exorbitant interests has earned them the name loan sharks. Trust TV investigation reveals how the unethical conduct of some loan sharks are pushing low-income Nigerian lenders to the brink.
In fact, I was thinking about committing suicide, but I looked at my children. I said, if I kill myself, nobody is going to look at these children.
Mariam describes her experience with loan shark as instant hell.
This experience is terrible, I tell you. It's very terrible. In fact, it is an instant hell, and after that, now wahala.
Like Mariam, Rosalind Audu could not pay back her loan on the agreed date. She became entangled in a debt cycle where she robs Peter to pay Paul, a situation that almost claimed her life.
I entered into serious depression. I couldn't tell anybody. When it had hit more than 1 million, I was suicidal. I had sniper. I went to my bathroom. I wanted to drink sniper because of all the harassment. When I was having these thoughts, the odor of the sniper became offensive to me. Then I went back to the room.
Rosalind noted that due to the exorbitant interest rates and service charge deducted from the loan amount, she has paid more than she borrowed.
Of all the amount I collected from these people was less than 1 million, but I have ended up paying more than 3 million so far.
In 2022, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, delisted over 30 illegal loan apps. But the investigation revealed that some of these money lenders continue to operate in open sight. Some of the delisted apps such as EagleCash and FlyPay have rerouted from Google Play Store to online website hosting as Android packet kits, APK file formats. These allow them to offer loans freely to unsuspecting individuals, harass and breach users' privacy. This is a violation of Part 2 of the Nigeria Data Protection Regulation of 2019, which places duty of care on data subject. But the spokesperson of Nigeria Data Protection Commission, Itunu Dukunu, failed to respond to the questions on such data breaches and possible action plans for violators. FlyPay, one of the delisted apps, went further to impersonate the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Nigeria Immigration Service by sending threatening messages in form of arrest warrant and travel bans to their victims.
As a commission, we don't issue arrest warrant processing, loan application, and all of those things. Those no companies are talking about. We don't do that.
Also, the Nigerian Immigration Service, through its spokesperson, described the letter as a forged one and devoid of all the service's security features.
I want to say emphatically and categorically that this letter never emanated from the Nigerian Immigration Service. It is a forged letter.
Victim of loan sharks says Apex Lending, EagleCash, FlyPay, Cash Loan and Credit Wallet are some of the notorious digital money lenders that have breached their privacies as well as harassed them. Trust TV reached out to these apps to get their reactions on the allegation, but only Credit Wallet responded. In their response, Martha Oluwe, the Assistant Customer Service Manager for Princeps Credit Systems Limited, the parent company of Credit Wallet, said they would only respond to the allegations when they receive official emails from the victims and the full details of the concerned customers are provided. By law, the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act mandates the Central Bank of Nigeria to license and regulate banks and the businesses of other financial institutions, including those solely operating online. The CBN has neglected this statutory responsibility by failing to license and regulate digital money lenders. Instead, the state money lenders license, in which this loan shark resort to, only authorize them to operate within the state it is being issued. Incidentally, they use a state license to operate nationally while they continue to harass lenders and breach privacy laws. The CBN, through its spokesperson, Isa Abdul Mumin, has ignored questions on why the CBN has derelicted its responsibilities. However, the senior management staff of the Apex Bank said none of these loan apps have approached them for licensing, and unlicensed loan apps are illegal financial entities. He added that the Apex Bank has repeatedly cautioned borrowers to avoid obtaining loans from them to avoid running into financial difficulties. But while these loan apps remain highly unregulated, low-income earners in Nigeria are hopeful that their illegal activities are checkmated by relevant authorities to promote healthy lending and repayment methods.
Right. Now, the Code of Conduct Bureau says it has arraigned the chairman of the State Anti-Graft Commission of the Kano State Anti-Graft Commission, Muhi Magaji, on a 10-count charge before the Code of Conduct Tribunal in Abuja. This is contained in a statement by the head of press at the Code of Conduct Bureau, Veronica Katu, which was made available to newsmen in Abuja on Saturday. Katu said the charges against Magaji bordered on alleged breaches of Code of Conduct Bureau for public officers, conflict of interest, abuse of office, false arrest, false asset declaration, bribery, accepting gifts, and others. She says that Magaji was arraigned before the tribunal on Thursday. Katu said the investigation showed the existence of undisclosed bank accounts to the tune of 394 million naira, thereby raising suspicion of corruption. He said the defendant was, however, granted bail with the sum of 5 million naira and 2 sureties with properties within the Federal Capital Territory. Vice President Kashim Shettima is advocating improved dialogue between unions in the academia and the government to address the endemic challenges undermining the development of the education sector. The Vice President, who identified the funding gaps in the education sector, noted that the private sector partnership will go a long way in bridging the gaps in funding for better service delivery. Kashim Shettima made the remarks while speaking at the 24th Combined Convocation Ceremony at the University of Maiduguri. Beatrice Kursi has more.
Nigeria's tertiary institutions have for long battled with arrested development leading to so many industrial actions. Vice President of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, said incessant strikes have been used as a confrontational tool to seek better welfare, becoming a setback for the Nigeria's education sector. He stressed that effective dialogue is the key to addressing all labor disputes.
It is no longer fashionable to insist on confrontation as a tool for demanding improved welfare conditions for your members. Incessant strikes are undoubtedly detrimental to the system, as such the option for dialogue must remain paramount in resolving any industrial dispute. Let me reassure you of the federal government's resolve to always keep its doors open for constructive engagement with the unions. To the students of this great university in particular and all universities in general, I admonish you to keep away from all forms of social vices and malpractices.
As we celebrate the achievements of the past and current students, the State government under my leadership remains committed to support the University of Maiduguri in fostering an environment that not only academic excellence. The present level of support is inadequate. This has compelled the university to increase students' charges recently. As moderate as our charges are, they are providing 2 honorariums for parents and students to bear. As I speak to you, many students are yet to pay the 60% for the first semester, not to talk of the 40% for the second semester. Except serious financial support is provided to tertiary institutions, future opportunities for youth education, especially in the Northeast region, is under serious threat.
The 24th Combined Convocation Ceremony of the University of Maiduguri witnessed the conferment of honors on postgraduate, higher degrees and additional honors. Senator Kashim Shettima was a recipient of honorary degree of Doctor of Science as the Shehu of Borno accepts the Doctor of Laws honors. The event was also used to draw attention to the challenges mitigating against the development of education in Nigeria. Beatrice Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Now, the Daily Trust Foundation, a subsidiary of Media Trust Limited, has paid the sum of 650,000 naira to the Nigeria Correctional Service for the release of 9 inmates in Nasarawa State as part of its corporate social responsibility. The inmates whom were released, 5 are from new and old correctional centers in Kefi, the headquarters of Kefi local government area, and while 4 are from Lafia Correctional Center. The inmate, whose offenses ranges from criminal conspiracy, trespassing, theft, receiving of stolen property, among others, also received 5,000 naira each as transport fare back to their respective homes. Addressing the released inmates shortly after a brief ceremony was held at the Lafia Correctional Center, the director of Daily Trust Foundation, Theophilus Abba, explained that the gesture was aimed at decongesting Nigeria's correctional facilities. He added that the foundation was able to secure the release of 9 inmates because most of them had minor cases which requires the payment of fines. The director of the foundation, however, urged the released inmates to desist from any form of social vices that could bring them back to the correctional center as inmates. Responding, the controller of the correctional center in the state, Yunusa Ada, applauded Daily Trust Foundation for paying the fines of the inmates in the state and for rendering humanitarian services to them. Now let's bring you up to date with the latest in business. Here's Chiamaka Nwafo with the latest.
Kenya could lose up to 7.25% of economic output by 2050 if it does not take strong action to adapt to climate change and mitigate its effects, the World Bank said on Friday. The World Bank disclosed this in a new publication called Kenya Country Climate and Development Report. Like other so-called frontier economies, the East African nation has been suffering from the effects of global heating, including prolonged droughts in recent years. According to the report, if Kenya's economy grows 7.5% per year through to 2050, in line with the government's target, the damage of climate change to economic output will drop to between 2.78% to 5.3%. It called for increased investments in water resources management, farming, energy, transport, and digital systems to help reduce the impact of climate change. It also urged the government to broaden the range of climate financing available by increasing the scope of projects to make them national and bankable. A total turnover of 2.025 billion shares worth 27.693 billion naira in 32,703 deals was traded this week by investors on the floor of the exchange. The financial services industry, measured by volume, like the activity chart, the oil and gas industry followed in second place, while in third place was the services industry. Trading in the top 3 equities, namely Jopol Gold and Venture PLC, Fidelity Bank PLC and Jais Bank PLC, measured by volume, accounted for 488.181 million shares worth 1.976 billion naira in 3,136 deals, contributing 24.11% and 7.10% to the total equity turnover volume and value respectively. The NGX All-Share Index and market capitalization appreciated by 0.37% to close the week at 71,112.99 basis points and 39.108 trillion naira respectively. 54 equities appreciated in price during the week, 30 equities depreciated, while 72 equities remained unchanged. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Now we take a look at developments on the international scene. Liberian president and football legend George Weah conceded defeat to opposition leader Joseph Boakai after a tight presidential runoff, saying it was time to put national interest above personal interest. The latest and nearly complete result shows Boakai leading with nearly 51% of the votes in Liberia, Africa's oldest republic, founded by freed American slaves. He said his CDC party has lost the election, but Liberia has won. The 78-year-old Boakai lost to George Weah by a large margin in the second round of the presidential election in 2017. With more than 99.5% of the polling stations reporting vote tallies after Tuesday's second round vote, Boakai had garnered 50.89% of the ballots cast, according to the Election Commission. Boakai was 28,000 votes ahead of Weah, according to Friday's figures. The two finished neck and neck in the first round last month, and with a national lead of just 7,126 votes for the incumbent president. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Saturday congratulated Joseph Boakai on his victory in the Liberia presidential election, urging him to unite the country and deliver good governance to the people of Liberia. He also congratulated the government and people of Liberia on the successful conduct of the Liberian presidential election, according to a statement by President Tinubu's special advisor on media and publicity, Ajurin Gilali. The president also commended George Weah, the president of Liberia, for demonstrating uncommon leadership by conceding the election and averting any form of socio-political crisis. The statement added that Weah's great act of democratic sportsmanship is exemplary, particularly at this time in West Africa, when democracy is under attack by malign actors who are bent on subverting the will of the people. Now, let's get some perspective on this developing story. Joining us now via Zoom to give us some insight on the Liberia election is Professor Jude Momodu, the Director, Center for Peace and Security Studies at the Modibo Adama University in Yola. Prof, thank you very much for joining us on the program. First of all, your initial thoughts on how, this was basically a repeat of what happened in 2017. The same players in the game, but this time around, the rematch victory goes to Joseph Boakai. Your thoughts on how close the election was and the outcome?
Yes, thank you very much. My thought on the election is that what we have seen in Liberia is a referendum passed on the George Weah's government. There are a lot of issues that his government has been grappling with, and so for him to have lost this election, it goes to show that he has lost legitimacy from the people of Liberia. And the election, although the election was neck to neck, just like you rightly observed, I should rightly observe neck to neck. But one very interesting thing about the election is the fact that the election was peacefully peacefully conducted, unlike in other contexts where you have seen election conducted and leading to acts of violence. There was a lot of tension that came up, especially when the first round of election could not produce a winner, and it led to a second round, which the president quickly considered defeat. I think there's a lot that our country can learn from the presidential election in Liberia, particularly the peaceful conduct and the fact that the election did not go to court. It is not the court. It was not the court that decided who the president should be. Like in our own case in Nigeria, it had to go to Supreme Court for Supreme Court to decide who our president will be. So by and large, I think it was a very competitive election, and the president, the outgoing president, has also shown spirit of sportsmanship for him to have considered defeat, and also congratulated the winner of the election. That's Joseph Boakai.
Right, and
that's my initial thought for now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Prof, and just to get your take as we wrap up this particular conversation. First of all, your thoughts on the challenge that lies ahead, because Joseph Boakai was a former vice president. And he's well aware of all the challenges of Liberia, which is poverty. The economy is not doing particularly very well. There are issues of corruption in government. How does he, get over this particular hurdle? Plus, do you also think that this is it for Judge Ware, or do you see him making a comeback in the next election?
Well, he may want to make a comeback. He's still new. He's still young. He's Ware is 57 years. So, and the person who has won the election, Joseph Boaka, is 78 years. So you can see that Ware is still young. So you can still make a comeback. Now, there are a lot of issues that the new elected president will be grappling with. One of it is there's this dead need for Liberia is a deeply divided country. So he needs to quickly, once he assumes power, I would expect him to quickly embark on a national reconciliation and healing. Liberia had gone through 2 phases of a civil war. So there's that division, ethnic division within the state. Of course, if you look at the last election, you see rhetoric coming from Yomi Johnson, who was also a warlord. The CPP party also, the flag bearer of the CPP party is the ex-wife of Charles Taylor, who at the time was also the president of Liberia. So there's still that challenge of national cohesion. So he has to deal with that. And again, the issue of corruption is also a serious issue. You recall that in 2020, cocaine worth 100 million naira. Some persons were arrested in possession of 52 kg of cocaine worth about 100 million US dollars. And those people, the government said that they ran away from the police custody. So that's another major challenge. In fact, the UN.
Prof, if you can hear me, we're going to have to leave it here for now. And thank you very much for the analysis and your perspective on this one. And let's wrap it up with a little bit of a sports story for you now. Nigeria striker Victor Osimhen is in the final 10-man shortlist for the men's categories of the 2023 CAF Player of the Year. The 24-year-old is considered to be a top contender for the award following his 8th place finish at the recent 2023 Ballon d'Or Award in October in Paris. He is up against former winners Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah and Riyad Mahrez. Also on the shortlist are 4 Moroccans Ashraf Hakimi, Sofiane Amrabat, Yassine Bounou and Youssef En-Nesyri. The quartet played crucial roles in Morocco's historic achievement as the first African nation to reach a FIFA World Cup semi-final. Osimhen aims to emulate Nwankwo Kanu, the last Nigerian to win the award in 1999. Well, good luck to Victor Osimhen. And that is the news tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Feel free, as always, to follow us across our social media platforms to catch up with more content on our platforms. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. From myself and the rest of the team, thank you for watching the news and good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.